In the ancient city of Jerusalem, a boy named Daniel grew up with a heart devoted to God. But his world was turned upside down when Babylon's mighty army conquered his homeland, carrying Daniel and other young Israelites into exile. From the moment they entered the grand city of Babylon, towering ziggurats and golden statues loomed over them, a constant reminder of their captivity. Daniel was chosen, along with his friends Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, to be trained in the ways of the Babylonians. Their names were changed to Belteshazzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but their faith in the God of Israel remained unshaken. As part of their training, they were offered the king's rich food and wine. But Daniel, with quiet determination, resolved not to defile himself with the royal fare, knowing it went against God's laws. He proposed a simple test to the steward: give us only vegetables and water for 10 days, and then compare us to the others. The steward agreed, and at the end of the 10 days, Daniel and his friends appeared healthier and stronger than all the others. God honored their faithfulness, granting them wisdom and understanding beyond their years. Their dedication to God set them apart and earned them favor even in a foreign land. Years passed, and Daniel's reputation for wisdom grew. One night, King Nebuchadnezzar was troubled by a dream no one could interpret. Desperate, the king ordered all his wise men to be executed. When Daniel heard of this, he sought God in prayer, asking for wisdom to reveal the dream and its meaning. That night, the mystery was revealed to him in a vision. Daniel stood before the king and described the dream: a colossal statue made of gold, silver, bronze, iron, and clay, symbolizing successive kingdoms, all destined to fall before God's eternal kingdom. Nebuchadnezzar was astounded, bowing before Daniel and declaring, "Surely your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings." Despite this acknowledgement, Nebuchadnezzar's pride grew. He built a massive golden image and commanded all to worship it. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused, declaring, "Our God can save us, but even if he does not, we will not bow." Furious, the king ordered them thrown into a fiery furnace. The heat was so intense that the soldiers who carried them perished. Yet, as Nebuchadnezzar peered into the flames, he saw not 3, but 4 figures walking unharmed, the fourth like a son of the gods. Overwhelmed, the king called them out, and not a hair on their heads was singed. "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego," he proclaimed. Later, Nebuchadnezzar's pride reached its peak, and God humbled him. Stripped of his sanity, he lived like a beast in the fields, eating grass and wandering under the open sky. After a time, his reason returned, and he praised the Most High, acknowledging that God alone rules over the kingdoms of men. This transformation became a powerful testament to God's ability to humble even the mightiest kings. Years rolled on, and Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar's successor, threw a lavish feast, desecrating sacred vessels from the temple in Jerusalem. As they drank and praised their idols, a mysterious hand appeared, writing words on the wall: "Mean, tekel, parson." Terrified, Belshazzar summoned Daniel, who interpreted the words. God had numbered Belshazzar's days, weighed him, and found him wanting. That very night, the Medes and Persians overthrew Babylon, fulfilling God's prophecy. Under the new rulers, Daniel continued to rise in prominence. His faithfulness, however, provoked jealousy among the other officials, who plotted against him. They persuaded King Darius to issue a decree that no one could pray to any god or man except the king for 30 days. Knowing the consequences, Daniel continued his practice of praying 3 times a day, kneeling before his open window. The officials caught him and brought him before the king, who, though distressed, was bound by the law to throw Daniel into the lion's den. That night, Darius could not sleep. At dawn, he rushed to the den and called out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God rescued you?" From the darkness came Daniel's voice. "My God sent his angel, and he shut the lions' mouths." Daniel emerged unharmed, and Darius issued a decree that all should revere Daniel's God. In his later years, Daniel received visions of future kingdoms and events, glimpses of God's ultimate plan for humanity. He saw the rise and fall of empires, the coming of the Anointed One, and the final victory of God's kingdom. These revelations filled him with awe and humility, deepening his trust in God's sovereignty. In one particularly striking vision, Daniel saw a series of beasts rising from the sea, each representing a kingdom. Among them was a small horn that spoke boastfully, a symbol of future defiance against God. Yet, Daniel also saw a heavenly court convening, where the Ancient of Days took his seat, and dominion was given to a figure like the Son of Man, whose kingdom would never end. As Daniel aged, his prayers turned increasingly toward intercession for his people. He prayed fervently for God's mercy and the restoration of Jerusalem. One day, as he prayed and fasted, the angel Gabriel appeared to him, revealing profound truths about the future. Gabriel spoke of 70 weeks decreed for the people, a timeline pointing to the coming of the Messiah and the ultimate fulfillment of God's plans. These visions, while daunting, brought Daniel peace, as they reaffirmed God's sovereign control over history. Daniel's life was a testament to unwavering faith, integrity, and the power of God to work through those who trust him. His courage inspired generations, and his prophecies continue to echo through history, pointing to the eternal kingdom of God. Even in exile, Daniel proved that faith can flourish, and God's light can shine in the darkest places. His legacy remains a powerful reminder that those who honor God will find their strength renewed, and their lives will serve as a testimony to his glory. As the years turned to centuries, Daniel's words continued to resonate. His visions and prophecies shaped the hopes of countless believers, pointing them toward the Messiah who would bring salvation to the world. His story of courage in the face of persecution, faithfulness in the midst of exile, and trust in God's divine plan remains an eternal source of inspiration. Daniel's life shows that even in the darkest moments, God's purposes prevail, and his light cannot be extinguished. From the palaces of kings to the dens of lions, Daniel's unwavering faith stood as a beacon of hope, proving that God's power transcends all human kingdoms and endures forever.